The Acolyte's only been out for a few weeks. We've got 3 episodes so far, and already it's going down in history as the most despised entry in Disney Star Wars of all time. And we're not even just talking about Disney Star Wars, I suppose. We're talking about all Star Wars. Since 1977, this episode, with these 2 episodes, now 3 episodes, this series is the most hated thing by fans that we've ever seen. And we've also seen the media go into overdrive to try to protect it. That's not a surprise, because this series was made for the people in the mainstream media, the people that are constantly protecting Disney and sucking their cock all over diversity and representation. We need more of this. We need more of that in Star Wars. They want Star Wars to change into something that it never was. But the fans are speaking out. The backlash is massive for this series. Right now, as we speak, a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. And in all likelihood, it's going to continue to go down and down and down. And even initially, when it first came out, you had members of the media that were buying into the spin that Disney put on it when they put out a number that had no context and tried to claim it was a success. Well, when we got all of the actual information, we realized that not just when it comes to the fans hating it, but when it comes to viewership, this is the least viewed product they've ever put out on Disney Plus when it comes to Star Wars shows. A pathetic failure in each and every way. But one of the most interesting things to come out of this, the conversation after episode 3 was such an abomination. The lesbian witches in space, the forced conception of twins 100 years before Anakin, all of this shit. Now some person's getting criticized that I've been criticizing for a long time, but when it comes to the general public, not so much. You even had a big push for this man to take over Lucasfilm from some people that said he was the savior of Star Wars. Those people never had any idea what they're talking about, and it's even more evident now because Dave Filoni, despite so many people over the years trying to defend this fucking hack, he's been very involved when it comes to The Acolyte. The Acolyte showrunner reveals how advice Dave Filoni gave her shaped the latest episode of her Star Wars show. Now, I've seen this by a couple different people. I've seen some people saying, Leslie Headland blames Dave Filoni for this failure. No, she's giving him credit. There's no blame to pass for them. They think that this is an amazing thing. They think that this is incredible. Leslie Headland and Dave Filoni, they are best buddies. They love each other. Now, I think also to say that Dave Filoni is the reason these lesbian witches in space were part of the Acolyte, that might be given a little too much credit. I think he advised, and I think he talked about all the different things she could include. The lesbian part, maybe she added it on her own, maybe she didn't. But here's the exact quote. Dave Filoni very quickly became kind of a mentor of mine in terms of navigating what this part of the timeline would look like for both Jedi and other Force users. It was kind of this aha moment for me when he told me, not all witches are Night Sisters. Now, some people who don't know anything about Star Wars might interpret that in a different way. The truth is he's talking about the other witches of Dathomir besides the Night Sisters that we've seen in Clone Wars and in Disney Star Wars fan fiction bullshit. He's talking about the other witches of Dathomir, which have existed since 1985 in the Ewok movie. And of course, were expanded on in 1994, Courtship of Princess Leia. But the bottom line is that now that people know that Dave Filoni was involved to this level, there is a massive amount of pushback. Whatever episode 3 was, it sure isn't Star Wars. Dave Filoni has tough days ahead after the Acolyte episode sparks outrage for the right reasons. Star Wars fans aim their blasters at Dave Filoni as the Lucasfilm chief creative officer comes under fire following the abysmal reactions to the Acolyte episode 3. And I just want to once again remind everybody, every single person out there, that when they were like, oh, Dave Filoni got that promotion, it's going to be so great that he's going to be able to advise people and discuss people and oversee all these different aspects. He's been doing this for years. They didn't update the job title for months. They didn't officially give him the job title for months, but this has been his role. Because keep in mind, when the Acolyte was being conceived, the conceptual time, this was before he officially had that title of CCO, right? This was before that happened. So this is how involved Dave Filoni has been in Disney Star Wars. And a lot of y'all motherfuckers didn't want to believe me when I said it then, but it's very evident now. He consulted on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Deborah Chow sang his praises about how much she would go to him for ask for advice for this or that or the other. Same thing with the Acolyte. Even when it was being conceived of, this was the guy that everyone turns to. And so it's not a surprise, I guess, that there's all this stuff with these people supporting each other. Leslie Headland, Dave Filoni, they did their cringe fucking two directors talk about Star Wars. They are on the same side. They always have been. I mean, just go back to Celebration, where Dave Filoni praised the Acolyte.
You guys, have you met Leslie Headland? And she's a massive fan and I've talked to and I enjoyed talking with her, and her teaser was phenomenal. I mean, how can you not be excited about Acolyte?
So amazing.
She's just amazing. She's a massive fan of Star Wars. And oh my God, the Acolyte just looks so amazing, guys. It's going to be peak Star Wars. This is who Dave Filoni always has been. And for a lot of people that said, no, I don't see Dave Filoni's agenda. I don't think he's somebody like that. Blah, blah, blah. Kathleen Kennedy must be making him say it. Well, he's changed. This has always been him. 2016, if you remember. Dave's somebody who respects fans. Is he? Is Dave Filoni somebody that respects the fucking fans? Listen to him speak about Star Wars fans back in 2016. This is pre-Last Jedi, by the way.
Strong, that are independent. When you look at Rey, on The Force Awakens, she's a female lead in a whole new chapter of the Star Wars saga. We haven't done a movie for 10 years, and here comes a Star Wars film, and here comes Rey. And what is it? Is it Panic in the Streets? Oh my gosh, a female lead in a Star Wars movie. And then the trailer for Rogue One comes out, and it's another female lead. Oh my gosh, how unfair. We've had probably like 2 million straight film cinematic roles where men have been leads, and now we've done 2 in a row that are women. Well, too bad. Oh well. Maybe there are more coming. I don't know.
That's the way Dave Filoni thought about Star Wars fans that were critical of some of the things Disney was doing right off the bat with Star Wars. Yet you somehow still thought that he was your guy, that this bitch, that this dumb fuck who has disrespected Star Wars in so many different ways, regardless of what he tries to claim about him being trained by George, regardless of what people wanted to convince themselves to believe, everything we've seen that he's been involved in is just, in my opinion, riddled with stuff like this. And it's not a surprise that it's the same way with Acolyte. Ahsoka was Dave Filoni unchained. Nobody supervised, nobody telling him what to do. He had complete and total control over Ahsoka. And that was the piece of shit show we got. And now we come to find out that the biggest Star Wars disaster in history, the Acolyte, Dave Filoni, also very, very involved from the conception of the show itself. So now, for all the Filoni defenders out there, for everybody that said he should be the guy, he is the guy, blah, 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 what do you have to say for yourselves now? You got what you wanted. He's in charge creatively over everything Lucasfilm, and he's responsible for this pile of shit.